Hi crafters, this is Raquel with ScrapbookPal.com coming along just to share with you a beautiful collection in collaboration between Spellbinders and Simple Stories. They've come out with this Say Cheese collection. I've picked up a few of the items, and in fact there are I think two more. If I'm not mistaken, there's an alphabet font that I did not pick up, and it is a die set, and another Better Press collection that's part of this. So just to let you know, what I have here are the memory frames. That's a collection of 6 dies here. So it's got that little Polaroid image and then some little tags and stamps. And then there's this Pooh honey pot, and it also comes with a tiny little bee. So I thought this would be super fun to play around with. There are the main characters here. There's Pooh and Piglet, and it happens to come with, of course, beautiful accessories like the little honey pots here, a little flower, there's a little letter and a feather, and then also a little balloon, so you can definitely make some birthday cards with that. And then there's Tigger and Eeyore, and this comes with a little butterfly and also some little clouds. There's also, for the Better Press system, the press plate and die set with the sentiments that also play very nicely with this, of course, and these are called Silly Old Bear Sentiments. So I look forward to sharing some projects with you. So I'm going to make a card today. So if you're familiar with the books of Winnie the Pooh, the classic stories, then you're going to love this collection. And I'm very, very happy to be able to work with these. And I'll also have a blog post regarding the same project, so be sure to check that out if you'd like to. I will leave links to all of these items in the description bar of this video as well, so you can go ahead and pick these up if you'd like to. To begin this tutorial, you're going to start with a 7.5 by 8.5 piece of 300 GSM card, and then along the short side, place this into your paper trimmer at the 2-inch mark. We're making a center stepper card, and we want to put that little blade over to where this measures 2 1/8 inch. And then we're going to drag that blade all the way to the 7.5 inch mark. So we're going to be doing this twice. First, however, you want to make sure that you get a nice cut there. And then once that's cut into your paper, flip it over as you see here. Place it again at that 2-inch mark. And then you're going to repeat this. So a friend of mine sent me a card in this style. I wanted to give it a try. So it's not my original design, just to let you know. There are a lot of tutorials out there, and I'm going to have all of the measurements in the blog post, but you're repeating the same thing, placing that paper at 2 inches and then cutting from 2 1/8 all the way to 7.5. Now you have this long piece of card that you're going to score, and you're seeing me score that first score line there is exactly at that 2 1/8 inch mark, then at 4 1/8, then you're scoring it at 5 3/8, 6.5, and 7 1/2. Only that center mark will be folded from top to bottom, and that was the one that measured 4 1/4. And now you want to fold this and burnish all of the folds. And like I said before, all of the measurements are going to be in the blog post, so don't worry about that. But you want to burnish these fold marks as an accordion fold. So the first fold line on both sides are going to be mountain folds, and then you'll fold the center ones accordingly so that you get the little accordion there. And then you're going to cut 2 strips. So you're going to do this twice, and you're going to go ahead and place some score lines on these. And this measures 5.5 by 1 inch, but you're going to score it at 7/8, 1 3/8, 1 7/8, 3 5/8, 4 1/8, which is that one, and then 4 5/8. So again, you'll do this twice. And now you're going to place adhesive on both ends of these little strips and then in the center little rectangle that you have created. And this is just going to help join this center stepper card so that it doesn't fly open when you place it on the table. And once you have that adhesive on there, go ahead and fold mountain, valley, mountain
on one side, and the same thing again, mountain, valley, and mountain on the other side. You get this little squishy thing. That's what you're going to place inside of your card. So peel off the adhesive backing. I do recommend double-sided adhesive here. It'll just make it easier. And then you want to place this about 1/4 inch in from the bottom of the card and maybe about a 1/16 of an inch in from the side. Now, when you have that secure, peel off the second piece of adhesive and close your card. You'll be doing this twice because you have two strips, so place the other one on the opposite side and then do the same thing. And now you have your little center stepper card that you can decorate. So again, I'll have all of the measurements for the matting layers and the card in the blog post for you. But you want to create little matting layers with papers that coordinate. I'm just using some papers I had in my stash here, and I'm referring to these as columns left and right here. You want to add your little matting layers to the left and right columns, and I've done this 4 times because I wanted to decorate the back of the card as well. I think for this type of card, it's really important to do so. And then there's a little strip here in the front, and I believe in the blog post I labeled this as C, B, and A, with A being the largest one all the way to the back. So C and B will measure the same, and then A, which is the one all the way to the back here, is actually going to be the shorter ones. So you see me swapping out those little rectangles. That's because I initially had used the ones for the column, but this is A, and then that's going to be the strip that also matches the same size as the back. So here's the two columns again. Go ahead and decorate these two. And what I've done is I did take my scissors and I shabbied up the edges of these papers, but that's not necessary for the card. It's just for aesthetics, of course, so you do that if you like to. So there you go. That's the back of the card. That's the front. And now you're going to take the Better press plate and die set. These have the darling little sentiments, and what I've done here is that using the Better Press system from Spellbinders, which you can also get, you can place that press plate onto your mat, and that is magnetic, so to hold on to it. Add some ink, and I'm using watercolor card. It's nice and heavy, and it is cold press watercolor card that I just have on hand. And once you feed that through your machine with the plates system, then you can remove that, and what you'll see is that that ink and lettering transferred onto your paper, and it leaves a really beautiful professional finish. And you can also die cut this out with this particular collection. It's the Silly Old Bear sentiments, by the way. And it also has so many other little sentiments there that are so, so sweet. So I highly recommend you take a peek at that. But that's the result. It says, "How I Do Love You." That's the one I'll be using on this card. But there are others, as I mentioned, so you can take a peek. This one says, "I'm Never Afraid with You." So, so sweet. So here you see it. I stacked it onto gold card with dimensional adhesive, which you can get from ScrapbookPal. And now I'm going to assemble the little flowers. So all you have to do is die cut these out with the die set that's the Pooh and Piglet. Those little flowers and these little jars are included. And what I'm doing here is that the little jars are filled with honey, of course. So there is a die in the set that will allow you to cut out the centers, and there's a large one and a small one because there are two sizes of little pots. So you can just place this right behind that die cut, and that little aperture will then show the honey inside. And I decided that I wanted to double layer mine. So here you see me applying just a little bit of adhesive, and this is going to create a bit of a drop shadow. I love doing this with my die cuts just for a little added color. So here there's also a little label that you can cut out with the dies included. And of course, if you wanted to stamp into that or anything, you could. But that's the result of the little honey pot. And then there's an even smaller one. So again, this one's from the Pooh and Piglet. And I also created drop shadows by doubling these up. And it's not necessary, but I do think it adds a little something extra when you are crafting. So here's the larger one. And this is the largest in this Pooh and Piglet set. And this one does allow you to also add the little bit of honey. So I cut that out of mirror card. And there's the little cover, just like we add on little mason jars. So you can place that right on top if you would like to. And of course, it's not compulsory, but I think it looks so adorable. I love all the details on these dies. I think they're excellent. And then there's the little label, and this one in particular does say honey, and that is cut right into that little piece of card by the die included. And then lastly, there's that little strip that is the little twine to tie together that piece of cloth on top of the jar. So you can definitely add that as well. I think it just completes the look of that honey pot. It's so, so pretty. So again, that's from the Pooh and Piglet set, and that is the largest little pot. Look how cute it is. So here is, of course, the main characters of this card, and it's little Piglet. He comes with a little layer there for the belly, and then of course another die will cut out all of the limbs and the two little arms. You want to place one behind Piglet, one in front, and the same with the little legs, just so that you get the correct perspective. And you'll notice that one little leg is longer. That's the one that goes on the front. And Piglet also comes with the little scarf, which you can cut in any colors you like. I kept it with the same colors because there is that one little layer to make it even more 3D-ish, if you will. So that little scarf, of course, goes on Piglet's neck. And next comes Pooh Bear. So here is the same thing. These have these articulated arms and legs. And so what's great about the set is that you can make these little characters look as if they're animated. They're doing, tell a story just like the storybooks. So I thought this was so, so fun. It brought back so many memories. Oh my gosh, but I can't get into that right now. But here's the other little honey pot. What I did is that I added another bit of honey there with mirror card. And then I'm adding Pooh Bear's right arm right on top. And that's going to rest right on his belly because he's holding that little honey pot. And then I want you to notice that in between the honey pot and belly is where I place the leg. And there's another die that will cut out these three little shapes. So the domed one is the nose. The other two circles will go on the back of the little bear, and one of them will be for the ear, the other for the eye. They all cut out at the same time, so you will have to cut these out more than once if you want different colors, and that's what I've done. I've placed a black circle, excuse me, a black circle for the eye, a pink circle for the ear, and then I cut out another one for little Piglet. I wanted Piglet to also have a little eye, so it looks so big there. But here's where I'm placing these little guys now. They're going to go on the largest step, and that's the one all the way to the back of the card. But I want this to be sturdy, so I cut it out again, just that largest portion out of 300 GSM card. I've applied an ample amount of adhesive, and that's going to go all the way to the back here, and it's going to sandwich that piece of card from that large step with the little bear and also with Piglet. So I'm repeating the same steps here. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow for a nice sturdy finish on this, but you're still going to be able to sit this card on a table. So that's not going to ruin it in any way. And there you see Piglet and Pooh are off on their little excursion. I just love this set. I think it's so, so darling. So let's do the same with the little flowers. Let's add some to the back of the second step. I've cut these out of pink card. And as you can tell, I only use the little petal portions for the little flowers, and that's to create a little bit of depth and shadow also. And also it allows me to add the yellow little flowers that I had created initially by pinching those pieces of paper together. If you see there, I did add the adhesive to the pink flower and then to the back of the stems of the yellow flowers. And that's just to create some little playfulness as if they're just walking through a little meadow of flowers there. And of course, you add as many as you like, but don't forget you can definitely decorate the centers of these flowers. So I am using some little golden circles. These will cut out with the die that cuts out the honey portion. And now I'm going to finish off the front of this card. So of course we want to place our little sentiment that I created that little drop shadow on. And by the way, I just used the same die that you used to cut out the sentiment, and I just cut it out of gold card. Here are some more little flowers, and it's fun to play with all of these little elements. I do encourage you to take a peek at all of the other dies that come with this collection. There's an alphabet one that you can get that has that cutesy alphabet from Winnie the Pooh. And of course, Scrapbook Pal also has a blog that I mentioned earlier where you can check out all of the descriptions of the projects that we make. So the design team will be having different samples of all of the different projects. And this, of course, is my own. You can also visit me on my page, Paints and Glitter, if you want to see other versions of this. But please check out Scrapbook Pal, subscribe to the channel. It's a lot of fun to watch all of the videos. And by the way, this is the little bee, and this one's actually from Pooh's Honey Pot. So I'm pointing out the 3 portions there that you'll need. That little U shape is actually the center, and the shiny portion of the, or the little stripes of that little bee. So I'll be adding these as well. All you have to do is add a tiny little drop of adhesive to this, and then you can place it right on the belly of the little bee. I've chosen some glitter card, as you see there, and also some craft card to create little brown bees. And I'll tell you a little personal tidbit about myself. My husband and I keep bees, so it's so nice to be able to work with this. I can't say it enough, but I just have a personal affinity to the bees, of course. So in any case, the little wings here are made of watercolor card. I decided to make them nice and sturdy, and that's because I'm going to make them a little bit glimmery. So watercolor card is wonderful if you're adding any kind of water mediums, of course. And I always stress in my tutorials, and there's a close-up of the bee, do not use your more inexpensive papers for the tiny little details of your cards. I wanted you to be able to see the close-up of that. If you want a nice sturdy die cut, then use your better papers, the heavier ones. I always stress that because it does make a difference and it'll make it stand out a little bit more. Speaking of which, you can also top them off with different colors. So here I'm just adding some little Nuvo drops to the centers of some of the flowers. These happen to be in pink, and there are several colors at Scrapbook Pal. This one's seashell pink, but you may find some other pinks that you like more. And lastly, from Spellbinders, I'm also adding some fashion gold pearls just as the little trails for the bees, and I only did that on 2 different sides here. The top right, of course, to kind of draw your eye in that direction, and then on the bottom left as well. And I think I may have used some of those little pearls for the, I'm not sure if I used it for the centers of the flowers. I don't think I did. Sorry, guys. But there are the little pearls, and then I finished this off with just a tiny touch of crystal glaze on the little eyes and nose of these little characters that will dry as a glossy finish. And lastly, on the little wings of the bees, as I described before. I'm stuttering like Piglet, and I apologize. You can use the Glimmer Gloss pen from Nuvo, as I have here, to add a little bit more shine, and that watercolor card can handle it. So you can just definitely load that up with some of that glimmer, and it's going to make those little bees stand out as well. I do hope that you've enjoyed this tutorial. Please subscribe, like, share, all the good things, and come back for more. And don't forget to follow and subscribe scrapbookpal.com and check out these items for more inspiration. I hope that you can be inspired and be blessed. Thank you so much for watching.